Hi Gemini, welcome to your April 2022 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Gemini, this is for you. I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. For your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you get... Right. Okay, that feels good. Okay, I was going to say that feels good, but you've got the Ten of Swords, which actually is not a bad card. There are no good or bad cards, really. There are ones that give us experiences that we would prefer. However, to have the Ten of Swords as your card of actions and interactions with the world at large, this is about what you do. And the Ten of Swords is about endings, completions, culminations, and bringing things to a close. It's basically a minor arcana version of the Death card, all right? Now, the fact that you have this as your actions card, it really means that this is a time where you are tapping into something that seems to have been shaping up for you guys for a while now, which is this eliminative quality of life. This is about removing, releasing, letting go of anything that, yes, no longer serves you. What do we actually mean by that, right? So many people say this now, and I kind of feel like it's a shame because it's really lost its depth of meaning. I remember saying this to people in 2016 and it having real weight. When we talk about removing anything that doesn't serve you, we're talking about anything that is not growing you, anything that is not supporting you, anything that is not giving back to you as much as you're pouring into it. The fact that you have the Ten of Swords then is really you starting to release and relieve yourself of any burdens that have stopped allowing you to become what you choose to become or express yourself as you choose to be. The fact that you have this Ten of Swords is actually really powerful because it means that you're very much consciously in control of what is being let go of or removed from your life path at this moment in time. For your communications and conversations, you have the Judgment card. I'm really sorry to say this, all right? And I think you guys know what I'm about to say. The Judgment card coupled with the Ten of Swords, yes, is one of those pairings. There are very few pairings or combinations or whatever you want to call them in the tarot that speak to literal death. And unfortunately, this is one of them that we do need to talk about obscurely, especially if there's another card that might pop up, and if it does, then I'll know that this is that. This would be a really good month for you to get your teeth and or your back looked at. This would be a great time for you to look after the hard structures of your bones. And when we talk about that, we're talking about literally your skeleton or your gnashers, all right? So this would be a really good month to get that kind of thing sorted. This combo could also speak to a death. Now, it doesn't have to be a literal one. This could literally be you removing or releasing something, especially with the Judgment card here. Why? Because the Judgment card is a card of assimilation of our past. So this is where we take the goods out of something and we leave everything else behind. On the other side of this, it can literally represent huge or massive changes. The fact that you've got this in the communication sector, this could literally be news of a death, news of somebody passing over. When the Judgment card is involved, there's two ways that it tends to happen. This is either somebody that has been battling an illness or a challenge for a long time and finally comes to the end of that journey, or it will be somebody that tends to be much older, somebody that's, you know, what I call in the winter of their lives. With the Judgment card as well, in terms of your career or any of your academic sphere, this could be a really powerful time for you doubling down on any work to do with an ancestor practice. I'm saying this because the Ten of Swords is there as well, and it could just as easily, for some of you, this might be something as I say simple, it's not really simple, but this could be as simple as doing something like genealogy. For some of you, this could be searching through your familial past or heritage in order to find information for something. On a more sort of professional or academic level, this might literally be, for some of you, you learning something at a much deeper level, or learning something that could be considered either taboo or very ancient. So it'll be interesting to see what the comments are on this month's video and how it plays out for people. For your money and for your money and materials, you've got the Empress card. So you've got this here right next to the Judgment card. Now this suggests to me this is making money from something very deep, possibly very old. This could be looking into new resources. For some of you, this could be finding ways to invest in things like oil. This could be looking at ways to invest in potentially cryptocurrency, but I would say you're more likely to go towards green energies, renewable sources, etc. Maybe even looking into antiques as well. For some of you, there's a very vintage feel with that combination that really speaks to me of things of antiquity. And I kind of feel like that's going to be a message for this month. Maybe it's because as the sun moves into Taurus, it will be moving through your 12th house, to ascendant Geminis, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but still relevant, right? That's one thing that I'm starting to really understand about astrology. Yes, your ascendant will tell you the stuff, but once you hit a certain age, you start to embody your sun a lot more. And so I think kind of for your sun sign astrology, it doesn't really become relevant to you until you get to about 35 plus. That's my personal understanding of and there's a lot kind of going on in here about things are starting to really mesh in that way. Your finances look great this month. And maybe a part of the financial improvement is because you're literally getting rid of the dead weight. This is a lot of you letting go of things that you either don't need, things that you don't want, maybe releasing goals and dreams that you kind of no longer really resonate with you, like... as an example, maybe you decided, actually, you know what, I've been saving all this time, or to buy a house, or I've been saving all this time to have kids or whatever, and it's like, you know what, that goal has changed. I'm no longer going in that direction. It suddenly frees up a lot of time, energy, and potentially resources. This could also be the accumulation of wealth through things of or knowledge of antiquity. For your Heart and Half, you've got the Seven of Wands. Very interesting, because the Seven of Wands came up for Aries in this same position. So I wonder if on the wider world stage we are going to see challenges and or issues with big relationships. When I talk about big relationships, celebrities, politicians, etc., I wouldn't be surprised, especially because it falls next to the Empress, if a celebrity wife comes out with a secret or files for divorce, or I would probably say as well, this may be a time where I almost feel like someone's going to speak on something to do with their family, and suddenly it's going to be like all eyes are on that family, scrutinizing like, were there signs of this before, like all of that usual crap. Okay, anyway, for your weeks of the month, for the first week of the month, and don't get me wrong, I love me some gossip. Okay, so your first card of the month is the Fool card. So out of death, or the end of a cycle, new things are reborn, and you've got the Fool card as the first week of the month. New things, new places, new people, new energies, new everything is going to be available to you as soon as you decide what you're ready to release or what you're ready to let go of. And it does feel like that's going to be the give and take. Until you release something this month, especially around that new moon in Aries, until you release something, nothing new will be able to come in. And maybe you're understanding this at a deeper sort of level. For your second week of the month, you've got the Empress. You have a double hit of Empress energy. I mentioned this in the talk that I did with Denise Matthew, and we talked about the eclipse, because the eclipses are in Taurus and Scorpio. We talked about the eclipse potentially bringing to end the life and reign of our monarch, and I really hope that's not the case. But I wonder, as I'm looking at it now as an overview, and we've got a double hit of the Empress energy, I wonder if it could be something like that. It wouldn't be surprised to me, actually, if this stuff that starts to happen, and it's really interesting because I've been talking about this lately, the phenomenon between what happens with Aries, because it speaks to the whole zodiac, and what happens with Gemini, because it speaks to what happens in the news. So I wonder if we're going to see that, or we're going to see more stuff coming out about a certain family, etc. But yeah, the second week of the month, again, just things from antiquity, things coming out, things being shared, things being released, but also because the Empress is like, it's juicy and sexy and fertile. The second week of the month could be really great for deep, intimate conversations that you need to have. When it comes to your work, your profession, or your academics, this might also be a time where you decide to go back to the basics of something, where you decide, like if you're an astrologer, it's always going to be, ancient Hellenistic astrology or Babylonian astrology. Like those are the places really that you're going to look for the root stuff, right? So I'm intrigued by this, but it looks like whatever you're doing, you're looking for more of the original source texts. For your third week of the month, you've got the Sun card. Your money, my dear Geminis, looks great, especially here in this third week as we come into Taurus season. Your finances are taking a massive boost. For some of you, this could literally be making money from the beauty industry, from the way that you look. This could be anything from modeling to right through to, photography. Any kind of art is highly favored here. So if you're a creative in any way, that third week of the month could really see your sales increase, which could be really nice. For your fourth week of the month, you have the High Priestess. There's definitely some sort of new information coming to light about a partnership in the public eye, let's say, because the High Priestess is hidden things revealed. This is very heavy on the woman energy, right? So it's interesting because the same thing happened for Taurus. There's a lot of feminine energy that is sort of being released and spread around over the course of April for sure. Now, because you've got this underneath the Seven of Wands, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be an argument, a dispute, or a challenge that's going on behind the scenes. It may be something that has come up previously or before, and it's like, you know what, we never really dealt with this previously, so now we're having to, if we want it laid to rest, we have to do it here and now. For those of you that are single, there could be somebody new coming in for you. One thing that I want you to be acutely aware of, if you're getting into something new with someone else, this person looks like they are either at the end of a relationship or maybe still in one. So this is something that you need to be aware of and prepared. No judgment. It's not my place to tell anybody what kind of relationship they should or shouldn't be in. Just know that you are likely to be the third person or the third party. And as long as you know that, then you're making an informed decision. He says after he casually trashes the deck. All right, so for your new moon message, you have the Gate 22 and Grace. This card is one for creators, and it literally says, like, the message behind it is to create for the sake of it. Create things that you want to do, the things that you love. Don't worry about who else loves or loves it or loves or loathes it or whatever. That's not important. What's important is that you make things that you love, and the joy that you get from creating it will shine through it. That new moon is really going to highlight the way for you to tapping into what you feel is best, what you feel really resonates with what your soul is trying to say. And after all, that's what creativity is, right? Using your energy to create something tangible. And in order to do that, it's like you're really tapping into the intuitive well within you and the way that your soul wants to express what it's being told. That is, you know, the whole point of it after all. For your full moon message, you have the gate 43 and ahead. There could be a wonderful and potentially a very lucrative opportunity that shapes up for you when we get into the full moon on in Libra. Now, what's interesting about this is the gate 43 is always about you spot something before it becomes the trend. You feel something or you intuit something, you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to do that. And then all of a sudden it's everywhere. This is a chance. So whatever occurs to you around this full moon, it's a chance for you to get ahead of the curve, to be ahead of the next big thing and to ride that wave all the way until the next big thing comes in. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.